Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is either going to send us into a spiraling depression, or they're going to send XRP to a $1 trillion market cap. Right now, XRP is sitting at a $64 billion market cap at about $1.12, consolidating over the past week after running up over 100% in the past month. So in this video, what we're going to be breaking down for you guys is what's happening at the Federal Reserve, their next plan for the effective federal funds rate meeting, what to look for on the Fed watch tool, the unemployment rate. We're discussing inflation. We're also talking about major companies and executives that have been feeding off the American public for too long, price gouging, using inflation as a scapegoat to line their pockets. We're talking about the Federal Reserve Credit and Liquidity Program. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis calling for the U.S. government to sell its gold and buy Bitcoin, what that would look like for the balance sheet. We have to talk about Bitcoin to the U.S. dollar price chart, compared that to the crypto total market cap, with Bitcoin breaking out into price discovery over $97,000. Bitcoin is knocking on the door of $100,000. Where we're going to go this bull run for the entire crypto market cap that we need to pay attention to. We're also talking about the XRP to the US dollar price chart and some potential price predictions and price targets for XRP. Also, a crazy amount of orders coming in on Binance that is not normal human behavior. What are they doing to the price of XRP that virtually nobody knows about that is going to directly affect your portfolio? So comment 777 if you guys are feeling blessed. We got a great video for you today. If you're feeling bullish, tap the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So right now, XRP is sitting at $1.13. This project is getting ready to make some massive moves. And this guy right here, he doesn't know what to do. So the Fed has a dual mandate that they discuss in every single one of their FOMC meetings. The last one was November 6th through the 7th, where they decided to lower the effective federal funds rate, which is interest rates that it costs for banks to do overnight loans. Basically affects everything. It affects your mortgage. It affects, the economy, it affects inflation, it affects all of this stuff. So the next meeting is coming up December 17th through the 18th. And if we go to this right here, which is the fred.stlouisfed.org, and check the effective federal funds rate, they've started lowering since August. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg for what's to come. And this is going to either cause, like I said, a massive depression, one of the greatest crashes in history, or XRP to $1 trillion. Now, in my opinion, I think it's going to do both. But I think the positive comes before the negative for XRP. Now, will XRP get to $1 trillion this market cycle? We will see, and I'll give my price predictions by the end of this video and what that would put the price at for XRP, because right now Bitcoin's market cap is $1.9 trillion. So for XRP to get to $1 trillion market cap, it's definitely possible. It's not only possible, but I'm going to explain why it's probable and virtually a guarantee. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% guaranteed, because crypto's risky. You could definitely lose money in these markets. I'm not a financial advisor. These videos are purely for education, informational purposes only, and I just provide you with the facts. That way you could do your own research. So don't buy, don't sell anything we talk about. Just grab what you need out of this video and then formulate your own thesis on what you need to do with your portfolio to properly prepare yourself and protect yourself. So in 27 days, the Fed meeting is taking place, and there's a 55% expectation of a 25 basis point rate cut. There's a 44 expectation for them to hold the line right now because of what happened with the inflation data. For example, if we pull up the United States inflation rate, it ticked in higher than what it was in September for October at 2.6%. So they're going to be watching inflation here and seeing if inflation comes in higher for November when they make their statement, or at least Jerome Powell makes the statement for what they're going to be doing with the effective federal funds rate come December's meeting. So once November's inflation comes in, if it's higher than October, they're either going to hold the line, or if he's crazy, which Jerome Powell likes to live his life on the edge. This guy is teetering on the brink of destruction, going off the rails on the crazy inflation train here. And you guys saw what happened last time inflation started to tick up in December of 2020 when the crypto market took off. It went from 1.4%. January was 1.4%. Then by February it was 1.7%. Then we were in the full-fledged swing of the bull run, and the market started to go parabolic for what I'm going to show you in a little bit. Inflation went from 2.6 in March, 4.2 in April, and then it was at 5% in May. And by June of 2021, it was all the way upwards of 5%. And it continued until the top of the bull run in like November at 6.8. And then when the markets topped down, it started to crash. Inflation just kept on spiking up while the markets turned around. So this, I would expect something like this for this bull run, and then for us to lead into a really, really nasty crash. And you're going to see this at the end of the bull run. I want to protect you guys, and I want to prepare you guys for this on the expectation so you can keep your emotions in check here. Because when we go to the chart in a little bit and I show you guys this, when you see crashes like this take place and you see the markets drop, 70+%, when we get to the top of the market before the crash takes place, you are going to see the vast majority of people drunk off of gains, and they're going to say stuff like, this time is different. It's a super cycle. We have BlackRock holding. They're not going to sell. We have institutions in the market. We have Donald Trump. We have the Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve. Listen, with all of that bullish news, yes, that is exciting. That's enough to catapult Bitcoin well beyond $100,000, as we've been predicting since the bottom of the bear market. But this isn't our first rodeo. I was around for that 2017 crash. I was around for that 2021 crash. And as bullish as it is to have Donald Trump as a crypto president, you cannot rely on somebody like that to save the economy from a crash, because even while he was still in office, there was a crash for COVID. It's all about global liquidity cycles. That's what we need to pay attention to. So to protect yourself, so you're not relying on one individual or one company like BlackRock, you got to understand what's coming. Now, when we look at these big institutions that have been leeching off of your savings account through credit cards, one example is a Visa executive is getting confronted with a statement from his CFO where Visa has been making money for years when Americans lose money. This was posted a couple days ago where finally they're getting held accountable in a Senate hearing. Listen to this.
To the extent that there's inflation driving up ticket size, clearly it's beneficial to us, he said, on behalf of Visa. So net, we are a beneficiary of inflation. So while American families are struggling to survive against inflation, you're doing quite well, as long as the ticket size goes up and your percentage applies, correct?
I don't believe that inflation is good for our business or anyone's business. I think a healthy economy is best for the U.S. consumer, U.S. merchants, and when U.S. merchants and U.S. consumers come together and transact, that drives transactions on our network. That's what we want, and that's how we think about growing the business.
Well, I can tell you that the CFO of your company, January 27th, 2022, had a different point of view and one that makes more sense. You're in a situation where you're benefiting from the weakness in our economy and the fact that its impact on Mr. Callahan, as well as families and consumers. What we're trying to do here is to do something you said you favor. Competition benefits everyone. Why not some competition for Visa and MasterCard?
Now, what's even crazier is Visa and MasterCard lost a $5.5 billion settlement, and this ends in 74 days. Now, if you have a business that processed Visa or MasterCard transactions from 2004 to 2019, you could benefit from this and get money back in your pocket. If you don't have a business, I want you to listen to this so you can learn how you can make money sharing this with business owners.
Hey, bull runners, this is super time sensitive, especially if you're looking to stack more crypto before the bull run is over. Did you know that Visa and MasterCard lost a $5.5 billion class action lawsuit for imposing unfair fees on merchants and business owners? So if you own a business, or if you know any business owners that process payments with Visa or MasterCard between 2004 and 2019, that's 15 years, you could actually be owed a refund of 1 to 1.5% of your total revenue from that period. That's a lot of money. For example, this business that generated $1.6 million in credit card revenue during those years is getting back $28,000. This business that generated over $7 million is getting back $93,000. And this business that generated over $20 million during those years is getting back over $320,000. That's money they didn't even know was on the table. And all they did was fill out a form through the link below this video. It literally takes less than a minute to see if you qualify, but you don't want to wait too long because the deadline to file is February 4th, 2025. So the sooner that you fill out the form below, the sooner that you can reclaim what's rightfully yours. Plus, if you don't have a business, you can actually earn 3% by referring businesses that do qualify by creating your affiliate account through the link below. So this is a no-brainer way to get money back in your pocket to use for your business, or if you want to use it for crypto or other assets to invest in, you can do that. So click the link below. Let's get you paid.
Now, this opportunity won't last forever, guys, especially for those of you that believe that the crypto market is going to top out between August and November, December 2025. So when the claims get paid out in 2025, you can just keep that money on the sidelines if you want, or if new opportunities pop up in the market, you can capitalize on that as well too, because when we look at the unemployment rate right now, currently sitting at 4.1%, and we look at max, I've covered this in previous videos, where 100% of the time when unemployment really started spiking up, we went into a recession. And so this time is not going to be different. We're seeing the unemployment rate tick up from, 3.5%. Now it's at 4. They're going to try and hold the line at 4 for a bit. So the Fed, what they are doing is they're kicking the can down the road, so to speak. They're trying to delay a recession. And in the past, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on this chart going all the way back to 1949. So it's not a matter of if a recession comes, it's a matter of when. So in one of Jerome Powell's previous speeches, he says they're trying to keep the unemployment rate through their dual mandate beneath 4.3, 4.4%. So if this starts ticking up above 4.3, 4.4, then just be prepared for a recession around the corner, as the unemployment rate would start to spike even higher than that. And it's also predicated on what happens with inflation. They're trying to keep inflation around 2%. So if inflation really starts spiking up, I would expect the crypto market to start going parabolic. The crypto market going parabolic is really a telltale sign that the Fed has completely lost control, because when people are uncertain about the future of the dollar, where do they put money? They put money into riskier asset classes, and crypto is one of the riskier asset classes there is. So if everyone starts dumping money into crypto because they're worried about what's going to happen to the economy and inflation, that just speeds up the problem, because as quickly as something can rise, well, that's how quickly it can fall as well too. So you just have to be careful here. I know you guys are used to seeing bullish videos on this channel, but we're forward looking here. We think into the future, and that's how we protect ourselves, right? I sold like 90% of my crypto at the top of the market when Bitcoin was 57K. And then I bought back in at the bottom because I'm watching this type of stuff and I'm sharing it with you guys. So I hope you appreciate transparency like that. I'm not just going to tell you that we're going to go up forever like every drunk idiot in the market. I'll explain when I think a crash is coming. And honestly, a crash could be happening sooner than most people realize. We could even see a peak in the market come March of 2025 if this really starts to heat up. And we're going to be watching inflation. We're going to be watching what the Fed says in December. But look at this, the credit and liquidity program and balance sheet right here. The Fed has been tightening on their balance sheet. Imagine what happens to the market when the Fed starts easing again and adding to their balance sheet rather than tightening, because they're lowering interest rates, but they're also tightening on their balance sheet. So we haven't even seen the half of what's happening. We've seen the half of the lowering interest rates where money is easier, it's cheaper to take out loans, but we haven't seen the other half of them expanding on their balance sheet and quantitative easing and buying bonds, bailing out more banks. We saw this little spike that took place back here. If I were to scroll down and look at what happened on the chart, you guys saw what happened March 6th to like March 27th when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed and they had to bail out the banks and add to their balance sheet by buying their bad bonds. Imagine what happens when more banks fail. What do you think the Fed's going to have to do? Well, either they're going to have to let everything go into a spiraling depression, let these banks fail, or they're going to have to do what they have every single time. They're going to have to print more money. They're going to have to buy the bonds. They're going to have to bail the banks out. And they're just going to have to add to their balance sheet. We're going to see the balance sheet tick back up again. We see this happen time and time again. Now, this has been overly exaggerated since 2008 when George Bush signed some stuff into law and said, okay, now the Fed can start quantitative easing. And they basically invented QE to basically put as much money as they want into the economy. And you see the total assets in millions of dollars spike after September 11th, when they fully made the transition over to the credit system. And that's why you saw Visa, MasterCard, and other major companies capitalize on this, because they got everyone on credit cards and they realized they could overcharge business owners on fees. And then the Federal Reserve realized, oh, hey, we could just have an unlimited money printer basically to create stuff out of thin air and make it illegal for anyone to create their own money except for us, and just screw over the American public. And Ron Paul posted this saying in 1913, the year that led to today's economic torture, both the income tax and the Fed were created that year. Now, when income tax was created, less than 1% of the American public really had to pay it, and it was like a couple percentage points. And now every living human being has to pay it. Now, there are some ways to minimize your taxes, minimize your deductions. When you guys join Altcoin Pro University below, our certified CPA will show you the legal ways to do that so you don't overpay. But the income tax made everyone's earnings the property of the government first. What the government allows people to keep is then relentlessly stolen by the Fed's inflation. Not only that, but you have sales tax. So you not only do you get your income taxed at your job, but then you have sales tax that you have to pay based on your state. Then you have inflation tax, not only property tax, you're paying taxes on your taxes. So at the end of the day, if you're not investing, you're getting taxed into poverty. This is why the government is planning on adding a strategic Bitcoin reserve, because they realize this is a runaway freight train. Like Ozzy Osbourne says, we're going off the rails on the crazy train. Listen to this.
You know, we got off the gold standard a long time ago. My question is how much you would spend tax dollars at a time when we're talking about trying to reduce costs. How much would you spend on Bitcoin as part of this reserve?
We wouldn't have to spend any new dollars. We have reserves at our 12 Federal Reserve banks, including gold certificates that could be converted to current fair market value. They're held at their 1970s value on the books, and then sell them into Bitcoin. That way, we wouldn't have to use any new dollars in order to establish this reserve. The United States already holds over 200,000 Bitcoin in the asset forfeiture funds. So that would be the initial source of Bitcoin. So no new money spent on this reserve.
They would just be restructuring portfolios. That's why BlackRock's having their sales team go crazy and get everyone to transfer their funds over, not all of it, but a percentage of their portfolios into crypto, specifically Bitcoin. That's why we're seeing Bitcoin over $98,000 at the time making this video. We've been telling you guys this. We've been front running BlackRock ever since the bear market bottom before Bitcoin ETFs came out. And now what we're preparing you for is what's going to happen to the altcoin market. For example, let's look at the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart compared to Total 2. Total 2 is the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. It's every single altcoin that's tracked on TradingView. Obviously, there's some that are left off of this that are just recently launched, but these are the established cryptocurrencies, and there's a massive list of them. So right now, the market cap of the altcoin industry is roughly $1.25 trillion, give or take. And if we look back to the past, what happened when Bitcoin started to break out on the 19th of October, Bitcoin went from $11,000 back to the all-time high of $19,000 by the 14th of December. Then after December, it really started to break out past that. So right now, we are breaking past the all-time high, more similar to what happened on the 14th of December. And the altcoin market is just starting to break out right to the high on the 11th of March. And on the left-hand side of the screen, on the bottom, I'll draw a horizontal ray. You guys can see what happened when the altcoin market broke the resistance of August right here. It broke out. Bitcoin was breaking out as well too. It came back down to back test $165 billion. Then it broke out after that. So right now, where Bitcoin is breaking out, the altcoin market is still lagging behind. So what I would expect to happen when Bitcoin, starts to cool off for a little bit, whether it cools off at like 98 to 100K or it goes a little bit above 100K, we'll see how high Bitcoin goes. I would expect the altcoin market on the right-hand side of the screen, the bottom, to make a move, potential back test of the previous range as support, and then spring off of that for the next leg up to go into price discovery as Bitcoin is upwards of 100K. I've been saying this over the past few months, and we'll see if this comes true, because look at what happened to the altcoin market after Bitcoin, started to cool off right here upwards of 40K. That's when we saw the major run for the altcoin market from, $200 billion upwards all the way up here of $700 billion. It was when Bitcoin cooled off at this period and Bitcoin had a little consolidation phase. And so Bitcoin is going to run first. And when Bitcoin cools off somewhere around 100K, maybe Bitcoin pushes to like 110, 120, and then comes back down to like $90,000. Maybe Bitcoin comes all the way back down to 80, 70,000 and cools off. On this cool off period in the upper right-hand side of the screen, that's when the altcoin market will make the run past the all-time high, because we're still off from the all-time high of like $1.7 trillion. And where would that put the altcoin market based on the amount of liquidity that would flow in? Well, we need to look at Total 2 and measure from the previous high on the candle body close to the recent correction period on the 3-month candles right here. So we're zooming way out. Like we're up in the stratosphere now, looking down at the altcoin market and seeing what's happened here. And in my previous video yesterday, I talked about a cup and handle formation. So what we do is we measure from the previous high to the rejection period where the altcoin market got rejected for like 1 trillion to this handle, and we measure the depth of the cup and we put it at the potential breakout period. So going into January, leading into inauguration, I would expect the whole markets to be breaking out and then a potential sell the news event. So if we measure the depth of the cup, that would put the altcoin market at like the upper echelon of $3.7 trillion as the target. Now, what's interesting is, what if we go beyond that? I mean, look at what happened, guys, back here when we saw this breakout in April of 2016. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row. Look at what happened when we broke out, from the high here. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles. So maybe it's a little bit less than the previous cycles due to law of diminishing returns, because look at how little liquidity there was in the market here. There was only $100 million. Like a billionaire could have came in, one billionaire, and just put in 1 billion of their net worth, if they're worth like $40 billion, and just pump the markets all the way up here, to a few billion dollars. Then more sovereign wealth funds and governments and, retail in general comes in the market. So it didn't really take that much money to push the market cap up to where it was during that 2017 bull run. It took a lot more money to do this. And now it's going to take even more money to do something like this. So I don't think that the altcoin market is going to go as high as everyone expects. And once we get up to these levels of like $3 trillion, we'll see where we're at, what month it is, whether it's like March or whether we're a little bit later in 2025, and what the vast majority of people are saying on social media. We're going to check the sentiment, the fear and greed index. Now, XRP is currently attempting to break out right now on the 3-month candles. And depending on where you draw the descending resistance at, if we connect it from the wicks, from the all-time high to the high of 2021, it's intersecting at that right now. And if we were to draw the height of the entire symmetrical triangle right here for a potential breakout point, if that happens soon, the top of that is like $34. Now, in order for XRP to get there, what would the market cap be of XRP? Well, let's just run a simple mathematical formula on how this is calculated. What you do is you take the market cap and you divide that by the circulating supply. That's how you get the price. So if we pull up the calculator and we take $1 trillion and we divide that by the current circulating supply, let's just round it up to 57 billion. That would put the price of XRP at roughly $17.50. Now, that's granted that the circulating supply stays at 57 billion. We know that Ripple releases 1 billion per month from escrow and then puts a certain percentage back of that into escrow. And if we were to measure from where we are right now in price to go to roughly $17.50, that would be roughly a 13x for XRP from the current price. Now, if we measure back from what happened last bull run after the lawsuit hit, XRP's price dropped all the way down to like 16 to 17 cents. We'll just measure from 17 cents. And if we were to measure all the way up, XRP did 1,000%. It did a 10x. They still had the lawsuit on their back. Gary Gensler was in office. Joe Biden was the frickin' president. There was no clear regulation. There was less liquidity in the market. XRP did over a 10x through a suppressed bull run. Imagine what's going to happen when there's virtually no suppression on this project. Now, that's not to say that there'll be no suppression. For example, right here, this was posted by Vincent Van Code saying bots are working hard to suppress XRP's price right now. Look at these crazy orders coming in on Binance. This is not normal human trading behavior. We can see the amount of trades right here in the amount. It's kind of crazy that they're doing this back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So we know that market makers, there's bots, there's artificial intelligence that can manipulate price of projects. We've seen it happen, especially with newer projects where it's artificial trading. It's considered wash trading to make it look like there's a lot of buy or sell orders to rank on like DEX tools or DEX screener to make it seem like there's a lot of volume. And what's interesting is if we zoom in over the past 1 day on the daily chart right here and we look at XRP, this volume that came in for XRP really, really fast with these green candles, like I said in my previous video, is not your mom, it's not your uncle, it's not your dad, it's not your friends asking about crypto, just putting money into XRP really quick. This is some type of institutional pump. Now, we don't know who's behind it and where the money came from that caused this, but it's definitely some whales playing games with retail. They're laying a trap here. It's very similar to what happened in the past during the last few bull runs when we saw these quick spike ups. No coincidence how we saw this spike up right here take place on the 20th of November, all the way up here to 80 plus cents right before the lawsuit was filed. So who pumped XRP's price up to then manipulate the price, potentially causing retail to FOMO in to buy this consolidation period right here so they could dump on everyone, drop the price not only one time right here, but another time right here before shooting XRP's price all the way up here to nearly $2 that bull run. Is that what they're doing again right now? And will we see a further consolidation for XRP, a further drop and a breakout for XRP? Or is this the last stop where XRP just starts to break out and melt faces above this descending resistance, similar to what happened all the way back here when we saw this massive green candle come in for XRP, and then this 30-day consolidation period where people were waiting and they were telling themselves, well, I'm just going to wait for XRP's price to come back down here for me to buy more, because it always does, right? It always has. And then the whales were like, nope, not this time. We're sending XRP to the freaking stratosphere. Look at what happened. It rallied all the way upwards of 7 cents. Then it consolidated for a while, and people are like, well, you know, the rally's definitely over. I'm going to wait for XRP to come back down here before I buy more. And nope, XRP shot up even higher to over 40 something cents, consolidates again. People are like, nope, I'm going to wait for XRP to come down here before I buy more. Nope, goes all the way up here. And then everyone FOMOs in and they're like, okay, I'm finally going to buy some XRP. And they were buying it between $1 to $3, waiting for it to retrace when it just didn't, and it consolidated. So in my opinion, which I could be wrong about, but I don't think XRP is coming back down to these levels of 70 cents, guys. I think it's just going to hang out here for a little bit, maybe leading into December, and we're going to have an amazing Christmas. Now, I could be wrong. Again, that's why you never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's why you have a dollar cost averaging strategy. But if you're just sitting on the sidelines right now and you're not holding any, and if XRP does shoot upwards of $2, $3, $4, $5 leading into inauguration day or leading into March, don't be the one getting caught buying the pump all the way up here, because then when XRP goes to these levels, that's when we see the next consolidation phase for XRP take place. And if you're the one buying this pump up here, then what's going to happen is you end up buying the rally. The price cools off for like 200 days, maybe 3 months, 6 months. We don't know how long it does before it makes the next leg up. And then you're buying the rally, and then you're seeing a bunch of other projects catch up to XRP, the other ISO projects, or, you know, maybe meme coins or gaming or AI projects or real world asset projects. And then you get frustrated. Then you sell your XRP, you know, somewhere around these levels, depending on how high the next rally comes. You try and rotate it into another project that's pumping up like this. And then you're buying the next peak of a project that does a consolidation phase like this and even comes down like 50%. And then it's a vicious cycle that you just get caught in. So the best investors in the world, they're really good at just accumulating all through this level right here, whether they bought at 35 cents, whether they bought at 62 cents, whether they bought at 48 cents. And they're just really good at holding for a long period of time, regardless of whatever happens to the price of XRP. You know, if we see some stuff like this take place and just crazy volatility and price swings of, you know, 100%, 200%, 500% to the upside, followed by 50, 60, 70% pullbacks, well, you just got to strap in, buckle up, get ready to ride the roller coaster. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, it's either we're going into a spiraling, terrible depression or XRP to $1 trillion. So I've got my bags packed. I backed up the truck all the way to the bank. I've grabbed them, packed them, and stacked them, left no bags left behind, because I believe that the spending power of the dollar is just going to keep going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. Blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies have been going up in value. That's also a fact. And together we're all running to the top. Now, if you guys haven't joined Altcoin Pro University yet, once we hit 1,000 annual members, the bonuses that we're offering on the link in the description below will go away. So definitely take advantage of that right now. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. 1,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree. If that's a goal of yours, our goal is to help 1,000 members set their portfolio up for life this month. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. We have about 200 members right now, and we literally just launched like less than 5 days ago at the time of making this video. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.